Hi guys, Nobukosi here. So I get a lot of questions around what are the top five things, what are the quick things that I can do in my organization to be GDPR compliant. And the first thing that I want to say is that I don't think data protection is something that you should just gloss over. I think it's something that you need to take seriously and it should be ingrained into the culture and the processes of your business. But granted, with everything being said, a lot of people just don't have the budget to invest in putting in place an extensive data protection program or hiring a full time employee. So I'm just going to give you seven high level tips of what you should consider doing if you want to make sure that your company or your organization is GDPR compliant. So this is it, the seven high level tips for GDPR compliance. So the first thing I'm going to mention is consent. Consent to collect the personal data. So whether it's on your web-based forms or whatever format you use to collect personal data, make sure that you get explicit consent from the people whose data you're collecting, and at the point where you are requesting the consent, also explain what you're going to use that data for. The second point I'm going to make is add double opt-in for your newsletters. So that what that means is if somebody signs up on your website for your newsletter, you actually send an email to them and ask them to confirm that they do want to be a part of your mailing list and get that second confirmation. So that's very important. A lot of newsletter applications that are popular at the moment actually have that functionality built in. So if you're using one of those, just make sure you have those settings enabled. The third point I'm going to mention is explicitly request permission to collect cookie information. And what that means is you must have a cookie consent banner, which explains to visitors on your website what kind of cookies you've got enabled on your website, and what those cookies collect, and how those cookies work. There are also software available online which help you to compile that cookie consent banner and have that cookie consent policy that your visitors on your website can see what kind of cookies you've got on your website. The fourth point, which is quite an important point, is you must have a data privacy policy which explains to people why you collect information and how you're collecting that information. So, and it must be publicly available. So, ideally, somewhere on your website, people must be able to see your data privacy policy, and you have to keep it up to date. The fifth point is whenever you have a privacy policy update, so you change something in your privacy policy or the manner in which you use data, you have to inform everybody who's on your database. So everybody that you collected information about previously must be informed of your latest privacy policy, and they must be able to consent to the new policy. The sixth point, which is quite important, is you must be able to reaffirm that the personal data that you've collected is safe and secure. So you must be able to let people know the measures you're taking to protect the personal data that they've handed over to you. Last but not least, you should not keep personal data for longer than is needed, for longer than there's a valid business need for keeping that information. And once you no longer need that information in your business, there should be a clear business process of how you then go about destroying or deleting that information. So that's it from me. Those are just seven very quick tips for ensuring GDPR compliance, and all the best with your data protection programs.